Hi, everybody. I'm Jay Holder, Executive Director of Running USA. Thanks so much for joining us today while we talk about insurance. We know that there's been some changes lately to the Running USA insurance program, and you've had a lot of questions. So we thought the best way to answer those questions was to go straight to the source. We're joined today by Nathan Nicholas of Nicholas Hill Group, a member of Running USA and the provider of our insurance. And Nathan, let's jump right into it. There have been some changes. People saw when they were maybe trying to get the insurance a month ago that there was a deadline. They couldn't get it after May 31st. You guys were going through some process changes. Can you tell me why we had to change over to a new carrier?
Yeah, you bet. Thanks so much, Jay. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. First of all, I just want to say it's truly been an honor for us to represent Running USA for many years now and provide insurance coverage to races from coast to coast. And it's an honor. And we've made a lot of friends through the process, which is equally important. So, yeah, to jump right in, absolutely, we had some changes. They weren't something that we saw coming, unfortunately, and it wasn't something that we desired because we had a good home for a number of years. But basically, what happened was right around the holidays, we were informed that Everest, our prior insurance carrier on this program, was selling that part of their business and exiting the market entirely. It happened quickly, and uh, we didn't have a lot of time to transition to a new carrier. And obviously, when it happens over the holidays, you kind of lose, Thanksgiving and New Year's basically. So we were able to pivot really quickly. We found a new home, and we're really, really happy about it and excited about the future of the program, the benefit, and the stability for members. Stability is kind of something that is at the forefront of everything we do. Uh, Not to get too deep in the insurance world because that will put you to sleep, but insurance has been in what's considered a hard market for the last couple of years. Yeah, there have been a lot of high profile claims and a lot of money paid out. So insurance companies weren't really looking to jump into programs. So we are thrilled to provide stability because a lot of insurance companies like Everest have left the market altogether. So there's definitely limited places for event organizers to secure coverage. And we feel that this Running USA benefit is a very, very stable and affordable and high quality option for
Yeah,
organizers.
yeah. Tell us a little bit. I know getting something up and running quickly was definitely a consideration. But what were some of the other things you were looking for that made you choose this new carrier?
You know, our list was pretty short. Basically, we have fine-tuned this benefit with you guys at Running USA over a number of years, and we feel like we have really perfected it in many ways. So we wanted to keep it stable. We wanted to keep it affordable. We wanted to keep it really simple, where it's just a few clicks of a mouse and you can take care of multiple events all at one time, maybe 10 minutes of your time, pay online, get proof of coverage in real time. So the minute you hit submit and your credit card's charged, you get certificates of coverage that you can then provide to venues or permitting bodies to take care of all that. We also want to give you a dashboard where you can log in and upload those certificates or get new ones, whatever you need done. So we wanted to keep it really simple because we, over time, have learned a lot and perfected a lot of the systems and heard the pain points that event organizers have had through the years and tried to come up with solutions for those. So we wanted to do all that, and then on top of that, we wanted to keep it really affordable in this hard market where rates have only gone up. If you have auto insurance, homeowners insurance, I guarantee you've not seen a decrease. You've seen very large increases. So we wanted to keep it really affordable. And then most importantly, we wanted to cover the activities that event organizers are doing, from a charity, 5K walk in a neighborhood all the way up to ultra marathons and everything in between. So that was a heavy lift that a lot of insurance companies, like I said, they've left the market. The ones that are around were really sharpening their pencils and really didn't want to cover certain things. So that was a challenge. And thankfully, we've landed in a place where not only are we covering all the wide variety of running events that organizers host throughout the year, but we're doing it basically the same rates, and we can get into that discussion as well.
Yeah, let's get into that because, I think one of the things that people will notice, especially from a process standpoint, you talked about that simplicity when you go to the page now and you go to sign up for coverage, that it looks pretty much the same. I mean, it is that same simple platform that you've used in the past, but there are some cost changes because the market is the way that it is, and there are some other changes, both positive and just necessary. I'm not going to say negative, but I'm going to say necessary. Can you talk about some of the major changes that members might see?
Yeah, the first change and the one we've heard the most about is rate increase. Some folks think that they're paying more, and they certainly are. But that increase, basically, I want to express that the rates have actually remained the same, and this is a pretty important point to harp on a little bit because when we created this program many years ago, it was a soft market. So insurance companies, they weren't really raising rates at that time. They were looking to write a lot of new business. So we established at that time, and we have not had a rate increase throughout all these years that we've been offering this benefit. And in reality, we were able to make this switch, cover all the events that we just mentioned, and we're actually doing it at the exact same rate structure with one little caveat. So really, even though it's a hard market and all of our insurance has gone up and everything, this home that I'm sitting in, the rates like almost have doubled in the last few years. That we were able to make that transition for event organizers and Running USA members without a rate increase, which is amazing. But the caveat is insurance companies have to file their rates in all 50 states to do business in the US. And those rates are, established by actuaries, and each insurance company has a different rate structure. So they've adopted our rates, but it came with an upfront fee. So the minimum premium and the additional insured fees, those two fees are actually higher than the last market, but they only impact very small events, primarily impact. So I'm talking events with like 100 participants or fewer, they fall at the minimum premium. So that's just like the minimum fee we have to charge to get started. And then it kind of falls into the same rate structure that we've always had. So rates are based on number of participants. And that per participant fee is the same structure we've always had. It's just there's some additional fees on the front end to issue all the additional insurance certificates, so that we can provide certificates for the venue where you're hosting the event, maybe the municipality, the land manager, whatever you need certificates for to provide additional insured status. That's where those fees come in. So it's just kind of on the front end, and it's unavoidable. Um, it is what it is. It's a necessary fee, as you stated, and something we have to charge. So,
And
but
this is
once that minimum's met, then the rate structure is the same.
and it's still a very competitive product in that.
Very, very competitive. Yeah, we for Running USA, we see a lot of larger events, very large events. So we kind of look at like the 2,000 person participant kind of as a good barometer, I guess, for Running USA member rates. And if you look at that level across the market, wherever you might be getting your coverage, other insurance companies, other organizations, whatever you belong to, Running USA is as competitive as you can find in the marketplace.
One of the other changes that you mentioned when we were talking last week is that there is a change on how far in advance you can get your coverage, correct?
Yeah, and it's purely structural. It's not, a lack of appetite for the insurance company. Our last carrier, Everest, we were able to issue Running USA a 2-year policy period on this kind of umbrella, if you will, on this master policy. And that allowed us to let event organizers purchase coverage for an entire 12 months at a time. For all of they could sit down at one point and cover all of their events for the entire year. Right now, I believe the limitation we have because it's a 12-month policy we have to renew every year for Running USA members. I believe it's April 1st, 2026 you cannot insure beyond that date right now. And we will renew that as quickly as we can so that we allow you to continue to renew out into the future. But right now, you can't do a full 12 months. for all your events up to that renewal date of April 2026. So it's just a structural issue, nothing more. But yeah, so you can sit down and you can do as many events as you want to host, but you can only go out to that date. And as soon as we'll renew it very far in the future. And as soon as we do that, we will move that deadline for you and let you renew as you go along.
Yeah, there is the general liability, but there's other enhancements that you can get, and these have been available to members all along. But I think it's worth reminding those who may be watching and don't utilize our insurance some of those optional enhancements that we have. Can you talk about some of the things that race directors can get to add on to their general liability?
Yeah, you bet. There's a host of them. One of them is host liquor is automatically included with your coverage, so no extra charge at all. Basically, if there is a liquor component to your event, but you're not doing the serving of that alcohol, you're not charging or making a profit off of the sale of the alcohol, that's automatically included with the general liability coverage. So with the coverage, the base coverage you buy through Running USA, your benefit, you're protected in that way. So, like if you have a local brewery maybe as a sponsor and they're pouring some beers at the finish line, that's automatically included. However, if you are responsible for pouring the alcohol, you have to have a liquor license to do so. If your venue requires a liquor license or you're making money off of that sale, you can upgrade your coverage by adding liquor liability. And that coverage is available in far more locations than the old Everest program. So that's an enhancement to this new program. It's available to more event organizers out there. And then in addition to the liquor liability, you can also purchase higher non-owned auto coverage. So if you're using autos other than your own as part of the event, you can buy that coverage just with an add-on click of the mouse right then and there for your volunteers and whatever. Um, and yeah, there's components that are also not optional but included, and that includes participant accident coverage. So not part of the liability, but if someone does get hurt at the event, there's automatic coverage that will provide some medical, funds to cover the hospital bill or whatever medical expenses occur due to the injury.
And if you're furiously taking notes, this is all listed on our website, so it's
Yep.
there. We've got it along with all the cost. One quick note, the cancellation insurance offering, that hasn't changed, correct?
That has not changed, though. That's still out there. Very broad coverage. Cancellation is a challenging market today, and a lot of it is related to, climate change in general. And, you may see from coast to coast air quality issues due to forest fires that are 1,000 miles away. That has caused a large uptick in claims for cancellations, and therefore rates just across the board are higher. For instance, last year, not only were rates higher, but the entire country of Canada had a event cancellation moratorium on it for a period where you just couldn't buy the coverage. So really hard to get last year. And right now, a lot of the I'm in Colorado, and we're already in a drought. So it's looking like a potential repeat of previous summers. Therefore, event cancellation is far more needed and far more asked about by event organizers. So we highly encourage you, picking up the phone. We have a form on Running USA's website that you can fill out and inquiring about event cancellation. We can
We
provide
talked
coverage in all 50 states, and we can kind of customize it to your needs.
we talked a lot about this at the last two conferences and the need for that. I want to ask one last question. There's a going back to the general liability insurance. There's a critical mass component to this coverage. Why do we want as many people using it as possible? Besides the fact that it's good for business to have lots of customers, but there's another benefit to more people using this product.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever I speak to Running USA members, live events, conferences, whatever, I always try to stress the importance of critical mass, not from like an insurance underwriting perspective, but more from the more members that take advantage of this benefit, the more leverage members gain in negotiation power. So we're able to drive rates down in the future. We're able to enhance coverages. And a lot of things, this is members program. This program belongs to Running USA members. I want them to take some ownership of the insurance platform that we've built for them because it's dedicated to them. And the more the organizers participate and provide feedback on the coverages we provide, maybe the wrinkles that they see coming to events, uh, things like dogs, service animals at events. That's a very unpopular and for good reason issue for insurance underwriters. But if more and more event organizers are dealing with this issue and they express their need for that coverage, we can then take their concerns to the underwriter and explain to them that this is not an isolated issue. This is something that is occurring with events of all types and sizes and that we need to solve for them. So with more participation, more premium dollars, more leverage is gained for event organizers. And things that we might not cover today, we can address in the future. But we can't do that without the power of large numbers. The more people participate, the better we're able to refine this program going forward.
Nicholas Hill Insurance is the insurance provider for Running USA. Nathan, thanks so much for answering our questions today. If you have more questions, email us at membership@runningusa.org. If we can't answer them, we'll get in touch with Nathan, who definitely can. And if you want to find out more about our insurance program, go to runningusa.org and click on the membership link at the top. Thanks, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks so much, Jay. It's an honor.